In this video, I'll be going over what the discriminant is. The discriminant is part of the quadratic formula under the square root. So the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, then over 2a. So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. The discriminant tells us the number of solutions in an equation. So if the discriminant b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then there are two real solutions. Alright, and then, so if b squared minus 4ac equals 0, then there are one real solutions. But if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then there are no real solutions. Let's determine how many solutions are in this equation. 3x squared minus 6x plus 2 equals 0. So this equation is in the standard quadratic form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's identify a, b, and c. A equals 3, b equals negative 6, and c equals 2. So let's plug these numbers into the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So then it will be negative 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times 2. So then negative 6 squared would turn out to 36, and then minus 4 times 3 times 2, which is 24. And this equals 12. And since 12 is greater than 0, so therefore there are two solutions in this equation. So in our second example, alright, we have this equation. Negative 2x squared plus 5x equals 4. First, let's bring 5 to the other side so it's in the standard quadratic form. Right, negative 2x squared plus 5x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, so now it's in the standard quadratic form and we can identify a, b, and c. A equals negative 2, b equals 5, and c equals negative 4. Alright, now plugging it into b squared minus 4ac. So then it will be 5 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 4. So then it will be 25 minus, well then it will be 4 times negative 2 times negative 4. And that's 32. So 25 minus 32 equals negative 7. And negative 7 is less than 0. So therefore there are no solutions in this equation. Right, so in the third example we have 3x squared minus 12x plus 12. Okay, so this is in the standard quadratic form. So a equals 3, b equals negative 12, and c equals 12. Alright, now plugging it into b squared minus 4ac. So then it will be negative 12 squared minus 4 times 3 times 12. So then it will be 144 minus 4 times 3 times 12. And that's 144. So 144 minus 144 equals 0. So therefore, there's only one solution in this equation. In this next problem, we're given that there's one solution in the equation and that we have to find a. And the equation is ax squared minus 8x plus 1. So how I would solve this problem is that I would set the discriminant b squared minus 4ac to equal 0. Because if there's one solution in the equation, that means that the discriminant must equal 0. And we know that b equals negative 8 and that c equals 1. So substituting in b and c, so negative 8 squared minus 4a times 1 equals 0. So then it will be 64 minus 4a equals 0. And then when you bring 64 to the other side, or 4a to make them both positive, and then you divide by 4 on both sides to completely isolate a, you get that a equals 16. In our next problem, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll go through it together. So it's going to be a system of equations. X equals 2y plus 5. And then the second equation is y equals 2x minus 3 times x plus 9. Alright. So you can combine the equations in either way, but I'll combine y equals 2x minus 3 times x plus 9 into x equals 2y plus 5. So x equals 2 times 2x minus 3 times x plus 9 plus 5. Alright, so when you multiply 2x minus 3 times x plus 9 together, you get 2x squared plus 15x minus 27. Alright. Okay, so then when you distribute 2, you get 4x squared plus 30x minus 54. And then when you combine negative 54 and 5, you get negative 49. And also, since the equation has to equal 0 to put it into the standard quadratic form, you have to bring x to the other side. And that leads to, hold on, it looks like a 6. Okay, so then 0 equals 4x squared plus 29x minus 49. Alright, so now we have a equals 4, b equals 29, and c equals negative 49. Alright, so now we can plug them into b squared minus 4ac. So then we get 29 squared minus 4 times negative 49. So then 29 squared is 841. And then 4 times negative 49 is 788. is negative 784, and then, well, if it's minus negative 784, then it's going to be positive 784. So 841 plus 784 is 1625, and that's greater than 0. So there are two solutions to this systems of equation.